He felt like he was drowning. Every day was a chaotic mess of notifications, deadlines, and traffic jams that felt like personal attacks. He was living one minor inconvenience away from a total meltdown, convinced that peace of mind was some luxury he just couldn't afford. It wasn't just that the world was happening to him, it felt like it was actively happening against him. He tried all the modern fixes, mindfulness apps he'd forget to use, productivity hacks that just made his to-do list longer, positive affirmations that felt totally hollow when faced with actual frustration. He was just spinning his wheels, getting more tired, and sinking deeper into the noise. Then in a dusty corner of an old bookstore, he found something else. A set of unbreakable principles from some of the most resilient people in history. Ancient secrets that wouldn't just help him float, but teach him how to command the waves. What he stumbled upon was Stoicism, and not the modern version of it, the stiff upper lip, emotionless robot thing. No, this was the real deal. A practical, time-tested operating system for the human mind. A philosophy forged in ancient Greece and Rome, practiced by everyone from slaves to emperors. Think about the people who lived by this code. There was Epictetus, born a slave, who became one of the most respected thinkers of his time. Seneca, a brilliant playwright and advisor to the infamous Emperor Nero. And Marcus Aurelius, the ruler of the most powerful empire on earth, who literally journaled his way through war, plague, and betrayal. These weren't academics hiding in ivory towers. They were people in the arena, dealing with the same stuff we do: anxiety, loss, injustice, and trying to find meaning in all the chaos. So they developed a toolkit for the mind, a set of principles to build an inner fortress of calm, no matter what storms were raging outside. And our friend, the guy drowning in modern life, started using these tools. He realized he couldn't change the world around him, but he could change the world within him. And that, he was about to learn, makes all the difference. It all started with the first and maybe the most important, unbreakable principle. Principle number 1, focus only on what you can actually control. This is the foundation for everything else. The philosopher Epictetus said it best: some things are in our power, while others are not. What's in our power? Our opinions, our choices, our actions. Basically, everything that comes from us. What's not? Well, pretty much everything else. Our bodies, our reputations, what other people think, and the endless stream of external events. It sounds almost too simple, but think about where your anxiety comes from. It's born from trying to control things that are fundamentally uncontrollable. We rage in traffic, furious we're going to be late, as if our anger could magically part the cars. We obsessively refresh our inbox, anxious about a client's reply, as if our worry could type it. Our character was the king of this. A traffic jam was a personal insult. A delayed flight was a conspiracy against his schedule. He was constantly fighting a war with reality, and reality always wins. But then he tried this first principle. The next time he was stuck in traffic, he took a breath. He asked himself the million-dollar question: is this traffic in my control? The answer was a loud, clear no. But what was in his control? His reaction. He could spend the next 20 minutes fuming, spiking his blood pressure, and arriving angry. Or he could accept it. He could listen to that podcast he'd been putting off. He could call his mom. He could just enjoy a rare, quiet moment. By separating what he could control from what he couldn't, he wasn't being passive. He was being strategic. He was saving his precious energy from a fight he was guaranteed to lose and focusing it on the one thing he ruled completely: his own mind. So here's a challenge for you. For the next 24 hours, make this your mantra. Every time you feel that surge of frustration or anxiety, just pause and ask, is the source of this feeling actually in my control? If the answer is no, the weather, the stock market, what someone else said, then consciously shift your focus to what is in your control: your breath, your perspective, and what you do next. You will be amazed at how much energy you get back. Principle number 2, prepare for the worst so you can truly appreciate the... I know it sounds pretty pessimistic, but the Stoics called it premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. Seneca, a major Stoic writer, advised his friends to rehearse hardship in their minds. Exile, torture, war, shipwreck. Okay, you probably don't need to go that dark, but the idea is powerful. When we calmly think about things going wrong, we do two things. We build resilience for when they eventually do, and we feel a massive wave of gratitude for when they don't. Our friend from the beginning? He used to live in a state of constant, low-grade fear about everything. Afraid of losing his job, afraid of a project failing, afraid of getting sick. This fear didn't prepare him, it just paralyzed him. After discovering Stoicism, he tried a new tactic. Before a huge presentation, instead of just hoping for the best, he took a few minutes to calmly visualize the worst. What if the projector fails? What if the boss asks a question I can't answer? What if I completely stumble over my words? But he didn't stop there. He then asked, okay, and if that happens, what will I do? If the projector fails, I have paper handouts as a backup. If the boss stumps me, I'll say, that's a great question. Let me look into that and get back to you. If I stumble, I'll pause, take a breath, and just keep going. By facing his fears in his mind, he stole their power. He realized that even the worst-case scenario was manageable. This mental rehearsal didn't make him anxious, it made him prepared, and it had an amazing side effect. When the presentation went off without a hitch, he felt this overwhelming gratitude, a joy he never would have felt if he'd just taken it for granted. See, this isn't about worrying. Worrying is picturing a disaster and emotionally suffering as if it's already real. Negative visualization is picturing a disaster and rationally planning your response. One is a weakness, the other is a superpower. So here's the actionable tip. Tomorrow morning, take 1 minute. Think about your day and calmly consider one or two things that could go wrong. You might spill coffee on your shirt. A meeting might get canceled. Then just think, and what would I do? It's a workout for your resilience. It trains you to handle life's little hiccups with grace. If these principles are clicking for you and you want to keep building your own unbreakable mind, take a second to subscribe. We explore timeless wisdom for modern problems every single week, helping you go from chaos to clarity. The third unbreakable principle is maybe the most life-changing of all. Amor Fati. It's a Latin phrase that means a love of one's fate. This doesn't mean you just passively accept whatever happens. It means you embrace it. You don't just tolerate what's necessary, you learn to love it. As Marcus Aurelius said, accept the things to which fate binds you, but do so with all your heart. He also wrote that a blazing fire makes flame and brightness out of everything that is thrown into it. That's Amor Fati, treating every single event, good, bad, or ugly, as fuel. This is the final evolution of the Stoic mindset. The first principle taught you to separate what you can and can't control. The second taught you to prepare for adversity. This third principle teaches you to see adversity as an opportunity. Let's go back to our character. Imagine a year ago, his most important project at work gets suddenly canceled. That would have been a catastrophe. He would have complained, blamed his boss, and spiraled into a vortex of negativity. But the new Stoic-informed man responds differently. The news lands, and sure, he feels that initial sting of disappointment. Stoics aren't robots. But then, the principles kick in. He acknowledges he can't control this decision, Dichotomy of Control. He had even considered this might happen, negative visualization. And now he looks for the opportunity inside the obstacle. He asks himself, what does this make possible? He realizes the cancellation frees up his schedule. He can now volunteer for that innovative new project he's been eyeing. He can use the extra hours to finally learn that new skill he's been putting off. The obstacle didn't just get in his way, the obstacle became the way forward. He didn't just tolerate the setback, he chose to love it, because it opened a door to a new, unexpected. So here's your tip. The next time you face a setback, big or small, a flat tire, a mistake at work, a plan falling apart, fight the urge to immediately label it as bad. Instead, ask yourself one powerful question. How can I use this? Find the lesson, find the opening, find the redirection. Treat it not as a curse, but as a cryptic blessing you have the power to solve. A year passes. We see our character again. He isn't a different person, but he's running on a completely different operating system. An email comes through. It's genuinely bad news, a major financial setback. The old him would have been sent into a tailspin of panic and despair. But watch him now. He reads it. He closes his laptop. He gets up and walks to the window. He doesn't look happy, he looks solid, grounded. He acknowledges the sting of the loss. He accepts that this is the new reality. He reminds himself that his reaction, his integrity, and his next move are entirely up to him. He isn't drowning. He isn't fighting the current. He is a navigator, charting a course through a storm he didn't choose, but one he is fully prepared to face. He's unbreakable. The journey from the man drowning in chaos to the man navigating the storm wasn't about his circumstances changing. It was about his mindset changing. He adopted 3 unbreakable principles. 1, he focused his energy only on what he could control. 2, he prepared for the worst to better appreciate the good. And 3, he learned to love whatever happened, treating every obstacle as fuel. Stoicism doesn't promise a life without problems. It promises something way more valuable, the ability to become a person who is stronger than your problems. It's a path to an inner peace that no external event can ever touch. Your journey starts with a single step. Which of these principles will you try this week? Share your biggest takeaway or challenge you're facing in the comments below. Reading through everyone's experiences is how we grow as a community, and your story might just be the spark someone else needs. And if this resonates with you, hit that like button and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.